Afternoon. This is Darlene Griffiths, and I'm going to talk about legal aspects of the teacher evaluation for EDL 851 Module 8. So the evaluation process in my school district, if you are a first or second year teacher, you have to be introduced to the evaluation process that we use within the first 10 duty days. Then you complete your self-assessment and you set your professional goals. And then your formal observation, you have 2 done a year, one in the fall and one in the spring, and those have to be done within the first 60 days of each semester. Then throughout the year, you can have ongoing informal evaluations. The principal can collect data on you. You can collect artifacts to put into your McCrell folder. A final conference after your observation has to be done no later than 5 days after the 60th day of each semester, so you have one done each semester in the fall and then again in the spring. If you are a third or fourth year teacher, same process, except you only have one formal observation and it has to be completed by February 15th. There can be ongoing informal evaluations, data analysis, and artifact collection. And again, your final conference after your formal observation has to be no later than 5 days after February 15th. If you are a fifth year teacher and beyond, like myself, you complete your self-assessment, you set your professional goals. If it is your year to be evaluated, because you're evaluated once every 3 years, then you go through the same process as a third or fourth year teacher. The principal comes in and does a formal observation once a year. It has to have it done by February 15th, and then you have your post-conference about that evaluation. So every 3 years if you are a fifth year teacher or beyond. So the steps for formal evaluation: you have your pre-observation meeting, which you set the date with the principal and the time when you would like he or she to come in and watch. Tell them what the lesson's going to be about and what you would want them to look for. Sometimes it's based on your professional goals. Maybe, for instance, a teacher wants to improve their wait time when asking questions. So you would ask the principal to observe that and kind of keep track of that. Then the principal comes in for the formal observation. I would hope that the observer would arrive on time on the day specified, but in my building that doesn't always happen. I would hope that the observer would stay for the entire lesson and would be taking notes during the lesson. Step 3, after the evaluation, the principal is going to go back and go through those notes that he or she took during your observation, going to organize that data. For us, they're going to complete the McCrell evaluation checklist and enter any comments that they need to add in there, and then prepare for the post-observation meeting. Then you and the principal and the teacher will have the post-observation meeting, and from my perspective, my principal just goes through the McCrell checklist section by section, asks if you agree or disagree with it, and then the teacher has the option of signing the evaluation as is, or if you have a disagreement with something that's in the evaluation, you can write a rebuttal. So after an evaluation, what if a teacher feels they are being let go unjustly? Well, if you are a KNEA member or a union member, you would call your UniServe person and get instructions on what to do next. If you're not a KNEA member, you would have to file a grievance within 10 school days of your evaluation. You would submit that to your immediate supervisor, which is going to be your principal. They have 5 days to rule on that and provide their decision to you in writing. If you still disagree with their decision, then you can appeal that to the superintendent in writing, and he will have 5 days to make a decision. If you disagree with the superintendent, then you may ask for arbitration. And if after arbitration you still disagree with the decision, you may take it to the school board. But all of these things happen within 5 to 10 days of each other. So the court case that I found was for the District of Columbia. The Washington Teachers Association was disagreeing with how their evaluation tool was used to determine whether teachers were kept or fired. The issue was they were battling over the evaluation tool called Impact. It was implemented in 2009 and 2010, and about 450 teachers in the District of Columbia have half of their evaluation based on a student performance on a test, just one test. So the teachers viewed this as arbitrary and punitive, and they said this evaluation tool doesn't allow for schools where it's high poverty levels, where there's violence, things like that. You can't judge a teacher on their instruction when they don't have the tools necessary. So that's what the Teachers Association was arguing. The Superior Court Judge Josie Herring made a decision. She ruled that the union could seek arbitration to contest procedural errors in evaluations, but not the substance of impact or the ratings instructors received. So the teachers had to still use the same evaluation tool. However, since then, there have been some revisions to it that their teachers union has worked to get, and they have made some revisions to that. So in conclusion, evaluating a teacher's effectiveness is difficult as is. But when you add that student performance piece and make a decision based on student performance as to whether a teacher is doing their job or not, everything becomes even more troublesome. So as we look at teacher evaluation, we really need to consider, what are we evaluating? Thank you.